Hi, I'm Matt Mead, Governor of Wyoming. I have the opportunity today to talk to you a little bit about ag and what it means to me and what it means to Wyoming. First, a little bit about me and my personal background. So my great-grandparents homesteaded a ranch in Teton County many years ago, and they were ranchers. My grandparents were ranchers, my parents were ranchers, and my wife and I have followed that tradition, and we have our own ranching operation, which when I'm done with being governor, I look forward to going back to the ranching business. I say that because having grown up on a ranch and hearing stories from my grandparents and even my great-grandparents and parents, it is ag that so much ties me to the state of Wyoming and to the land. I remember growing up and the pride my grandparents and parents had in saying that they were ranchers. They had that pride because they recognized that it provided open space to so much of Wyoming, that it provided habitat for wildlife. And it also, very importantly, put food on the table for Wyoming citizens, for the people of the United States and around the world. They always felt pride in that they could say every day that their job was helping feed America and helping feed the world. I too share that pride in saying that in ranching we get to help feed the families of America. Wyoming has a great tradition in ag, and it means so much to ranchers for sure, but it means so much to all of Wyoming because what it provides, not only in terms of food, but open space and wildlife. The history of ranching is long in Wyoming. It began in 1830 when 5 cows were brought into the state. It took almost another 40 years of cattle moving through Wyoming before large herds were brought to stay. The arrival of the railroad in 1867 started off the cattle boom in Wyoming. Having the railroad was critical to growing the business in the state. Also, free grass, a country hungry for beef, and railroad access for shipping provided the chance for businessmen and women to make a lot of money raising cattle. Raising sheep was also big business, and the sheep industry grew along with cattle ranchers. In fact, by the early 1900s, there were more sheep in Wyoming than cattle. About that same time, homesteading acts began allowing settlers to claim pieces of land across the West. As the settlers arrived, the large areas of free grazing land used by the cattle and sheepmen were broken into smaller pieces. Now, this, as many in Wyoming know, this led to conflict between the different groups over the best uses of the land and the resources. This time in history is known as the Range Wars. Some of you may have heard of events and people from this time in our history, including the Johnson County War, Tom Horn, and Cattle Kate. This time in our history came to an end when the Taylor Grazing Act of 1934 changed the way grazing was managed on public lands. Many of the early settlers tried raising crops as well as livestock. Farming in Wyoming was a unique challenge for the settlers because of the harsh weather conditions in our state. The rainwater received each year is not enough to support most crops, and unless the settler was lucky enough to claim land near a stream or a river, it was not possible to irrigate. Challenges in keeping crops watered led to building irrigation districts and water storage system in several areas of the state. In areas without access to irrigation, dryland farming allowed farms to thrive. By the 1920s, new farming equipment and technology encouraged the growth of larger farms and ranches and led to fewer small farms and ranches. Many are still family-owned and operated today. As technology and culture have changed over the years, many people have moved into urban areas. In comparison, there are fewer farms and ranches remaining, but ag is still alive and well in Wyoming, and we're grateful for that. Today, dry farming and irrigation have allowed Wyoming farmers and ranchers to raise crops that can thrive in our environment. Wyoming farmers raise hay, oats, barley, corn, beans, sugar beets, and other crops. More than 1 million head of cattle and over 350,000 sheep graze Wyoming grasslands, outnumbering the people here. Wyoming is still one of the few states in the country with ag at its core. And our farmers and ranchers carefully steward the water, the soil, and rangeland to make sure they're available for future generations. What will your generation add to the history of Wyoming's ag? We know, and we have reason to believe, it'll be a wonderful future with you taking the helm.